One thing that's for certain is that Pedro Pascal getting involved and way too involved in politics, it's not really helping the situation at all when it comes to the press tour for the Fantastic Four.
Pedro Pascal's rumored departure from Disney isn't just another Hollywood breakup. It's a full-blown industry earthquake shaking the foundations of Marvel's future. Insiders close to the situation claim the Fantastic Four disaster was the final straw, with Pascal allegedly telling close colleagues in no uncertain terms that he refuses to continue working under these conditions. Reports suggest he dropped the bombshell line, "I won't do this anymore," during a heated meeting with executives, though some claim Disney may have pushed him out first to save face. Behind closed doors, executives were reportedly furious over his disastrous press tour performance, where he repeatedly mocked Marvel fans and doubled down on divisive political statements that alienated core audiences.
It's not that he's a bad actor. It's just that what he's doing in this movie does not allow him to have any of the charm. He's got no mojo. And it's really very strange. And he doesn't even seem that smart.
I mean, you really need to be with Mr. Fantastic, as he is known, to be in on this movie. And I wasn't.
The tension reached its peak when clips of Pascal and co-star Vanessa Kirby's awkward red carpet interactions went viral, with fans universally labeling their chemistry as cringe-inducing PR rather than genuine camaraderie. Now, with Fantastic Four hemorrhaging over $100 million and counting, Pascal's exit isn't just about creative differences. It's become a financial necessity. Marvel's entire new phase was supposed to be anchored by his star power, but after this spectacular meltdown, even his massive success in The Last of Us couldn't salvage his Marvel career. The burning question now is who might be next to walk away from the sinking ship, and more importantly, does Disney even have a plan to stop the bleeding?
It's unbelievable. I can't believe it. This is crossing a line in a big way.
The cold, hard numbers tell a story Marvel doesn't want you to hear. Fantastic Four isn't just another underperforming superhero movie, it's shaping up to be one of the most catastrophic franchise failures in modern Hollywood history. A staggering 66% second weekend drop at the box office is unprecedented for any major franchise, let alone one featuring Marvel's first family. The film barely scraped together $198 million globally against a bloated $250 million production budget, not even accounting for the additional hundreds of millions spent on marketing. To put this disaster in perspective, even the much-maligned Ant-Man 3 managed to cross the $400 million mark.
So in the ending of the movie, Sue Storm dies, pushing Galactus to the portal, and now Galactus is sent to the outer reaches of space. However, Sue's son Franklin Richards is literally a god, so he literally revived her.
While the Marvels could at least blame its poor performance on broader superhero fatigue, but Fantastic Four's collapse was something far more alarming, an immediate rejection by audiences. The most damning statistic shows an 80% nosedive in ticket sales from Friday to Saturday of its opening weekend, a death knell that even the most hated blockbusters rarely experience. The reason became painfully clear. No one was coming back for repeat viewings. While theaters saw decent crowds on opening night, they transformed into ghost towns by the second week. Industry analysts point to Marvel's perfect storm of problems: astronomical budgets that can never be recouped, shockingly poor CGI that made Galactus look like a last-generation video game cutscene, and a story so blandly forgettable that even die-hard fans left theaters shrugging in disappointment.
It's being reported that Fantastic Four First Steps has rocketed to $118 million US box office for a $218 million global pool for the opening weekend. Now, this is early reports.
Most troubling of all, this wasn't some isolated incident. Early tracking for Captain America 4 and Thunderbolts suggests the same disastrous pattern is repeating itself. The message from audiences couldn't be clearer. Marvel's once magical formula is completely broken, and fans have finally stopped pretending otherwise. Pedro Pascal didn't just passively star in a box office flop, he actively poured gasoline on the fire with one of the most tone-deaf press tours in recent Marvel history. His approach to promoting Fantastic Four became a masterclass in how to alienate a fanbase, featuring a relentless series of missteps that began with mocking comic book readers as toxic and culminated in dismissive comments about the source material being silly and outdated. In one particularly disastrous interview that went viral, Pascal smirked while suggesting that anyone who disliked the movie was probably part of the problem, a comment that sent fan forums into meltdown.
a lot of Marvel movies. If you're in the top 5, you're doing well.
The backlash reached fever pitch when Fantastic Four's creative decisions showed a blatant disregard for decades of beloved comics, opting instead for a half-baked modern reinterpretation that pleased absolutely no one. Then came the Vanessa Kirby scandal. Leaked behind-the-scenes footage showed the actress awkwardly fawning over Pascal in ways that sparked rumors of on-set tension and unprofessional behavior. By the time the premiere rolled around, hashtags demanding Reed Richards be recast were trending worldwide.
I just knew he would be an incredible partner, and I knew that he would play a man, as he always does with all his characters, who's just not what you expect. And I think it needed it. Mr. Fantastic is the leader, and we needed a new kind of leader.
Pascal's response to the growing storm of criticism was telling. Complete radio silence until the explosive exit rumors began circulating. Now, insiders claim Disney executives privately blame Pascal for much of the backlash, with one source reportedly snarling that he talked down to the audience and then seemed surprised when they didn't show up. The lesson for Hollywood couldn't be clearer. Insult your core fan base at your own peril, because they will absolutely retaliate by burying your movie. Before we get to Marvel's shocking next move, take a second to hit that like button if you're enjoying this deep dive, and subscribe to stay updated on all the latest Hollywood breakdowns, because with how fast this story's developing, you won't want to miss what comes next.
Although Superman did slightly better at the box office and did better with families, Fantastic Four sports a similar A- sin on the score, did better with moviegoers over 35, and did a lot to repair the brand of the Fantastic Four, which previous movie iterations had kind of tarnished.
Behind Marvel's very public collapse lies a bitter, escalating civil war between corporate executives and creative talent that's tearing the studio apart from within. Leaks from Fantastic Four's chaotic production paint a picture of a project in complete disarray, scripts being rewritten days before shooting, visual effects artists driven to exhaustion through endless revisions, and Marvel head Kevin Feige's creative team constantly clashing with Disney's diversity executives over what many saw as forced plot lines. One particularly egregious example came when a Marvel vice president trashed the beloved X-Men 97 storyline featuring Cyclops and Phoenix, dismissing the iconic characters' nicknames as confusing and irrelevant.
Pedro Pascal is getting dragged online for Fantastic Four, and it's not about his acting.
I think I speak for the entire Marvel community and for those in the Marvel community that are too afraid to admit it when I say this, but as soon as we all saw Julia Garner's female Silver Surfer, we all thought the exact same thing.
This blatant disrespect for Marvel's own history sent longtime fans into a fury, with many accusing the studio of actively hating the source material that built its empire. The situation with Pascal's Reed Richards character proved equally troubling. Insiders reveal the role was rewritten at the last minute to make the traditionally brilliant scientist more abrasively modern, a decision that test audiences overwhelmingly hated. The result is a film that satisfied no one, not fans of the original comics, not general audiences, and certainly not the creative talent forced to execute corporate mandates, with acclaimed writers and directors like Destin Daniel Cretton abandoning ship on projects like Avengers 5. It's becoming increasingly clear that Marvel isn't just losing its biggest stars, it's losing its very soul in the process. The spectacular failure of Fantastic Four has become the clearest evidence yet that the go woke, go broke phenomenon is far more than just an internet meme. It's become a serious warning for Hollywood studios. Fans had been begging Marvel for years to stay true to the spirit of the original Fantastic Four comics, but the studio instead delivered a painfully modernized version that replaced heart with hollow messaging. Pascal's Reed Richards was transformed from a brilliant but caring leader into a cold, emotionally distant jerk who snapped at Sue Storm about her so-called emotional baggage. The decision to turn Galactus into a heavy-handed climate change allegory fell completely flat, while the thing's controversial redesign had fans across social media asking why he looked like a pile of melted rocks rather than the beloved orange-rocked hero. Behind the scenes, leaks revealed Disney had mandated strict diversity quotas requiring at least 30% more women and people of color in key production roles, not as organic creative choices, but as corporate checkboxes. The result was a film that somehow managed to please no one. Conservative audiences dismissed it as preachy and agenda-driven, while progressive viewers criticized its shallow, tokenized approach to representation. The box office bloodbath that followed speaks volumes when compared to Marvel's past successes like Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy.
We always ask, man, why does this keep happening? Why does Pedro Pascal keep getting cast? Why do executives in Hollywood keep casting Pedro Pascal?
Where diversity and inclusion felt natural and earned rather than forced. Marvel's fundamental mistake wasn't in pursuing diversity. it was in prioritizing messaging over storytelling, and Fantastic Four's catastrophic failure stands as a stark reminder that audiences ultimately just want good movies, not lectures disguised as entertainment. Marvel's Reed Richards recast is becoming a nightmare. Fan favorite John Krasinski is hesitant after seeing Pascal's fallout, while Dev Patel's rumored casting was reportedly vetoed. Even wildcards like Adam Driver or Glenn Howerton seem unlikely. After this disaster, no A-lister wants the role. Rumors of a gender-swapped Reed with Emily Blunt only angered fans begging for comic accuracy. With Secret Wars approaching, Marvel may have to scrap the Fantastic Four entirely. Here's Marvel's worst nightmare laid bare. Their only guaranteed box office draw remaining is Spider-Man, and they don't even fully control the character. Sony's record-breaking success with Spider-Man No Way Home proved the web-slinger remains Marvel's most bankable hero, but the studio finds itself in the humiliating position of having to beg its rival for permission to use him. Leaked emails suggest Disney has offered Sony shockingly generous terms, including 100% of merchandising revenue just to secure Spider-Man appearances in upcoming projects like Avengers, Secret Wars. Meanwhile, Fantastic Four's spectacular failure has effectively torpedoed Marvel's entire Phase 5 roadmap, leaving Spider-Man as the only reliable franchise anchor remaining. Compounding the crisis is Tom Holland's recent comments suggesting he's ready to hang up the tights after Secret Wars, while Sony moves forward with plans to reboot the character with a new actor in their own separate universe. The irony is palpable. As Marvel flounders with its interconnected universe, Sony's more standalone R-rated projects like Venom 3 and Kraven the Hunter are generating genuine excitement by focusing on simple, unpretentious entertainment. The lesson emerging from this mess is becoming impossible to ignore. Maybe Marvel's problem isn't superhero fatigue, but rather Marvel fatigue specifically.
The Fantastic Four, the return of the MCU. What? Oh my god. They made Invisible Woman a girl this time on a team that contains 3 other men. I just can't believe it.
The concept of superhero fatigue has transitioned from industry talking point to undeniable reality, and the numbers don't lie. Fantastic Four's catastrophic performance is merely the latest in a growing line of superhero disasters. The Marvels lost an estimated $200 million. Shazam 2 bombed with $150 million in losses. And Blue Beetle performed so poorly, it might as well have gone straight to streaming. Even DC's Aquaman 2, once considered a safe bet, sank without a trace. The root cause isn't complicated. Audiences have simply grown tired of the same formulaic CGI spectacles, convoluted multiverse storytelling, and thinly veiled lectures that have come to define modern superhero films. The contrast with recent successes like Oppenheimer, a 3-hour historical drama that grossed over $1 billion, or Godzilla Minus One, a $15 million Japanese film that won an Oscar, couldn't be more stark. Moviegoers are craving originality and substance over assembly line content. Even Marvel's upcoming Blade reboot is reportedly in trouble, with insiders describing it as too focused on messaging at the expense of entertainment. The writing is on the wall. The superhero genre either needs to evolve dramatically or take a long hiatus before audiences will welcome it back. As Marvel's empire crumbles, an unexpected genre is experiencing a renaissance: old-school comedy. The surprise success of the Naked Gun reboot has sent shockwaves through Hollywood by proving that audiences still crave simple, unpretentious fun. Critics universally praise the film for delivering exactly what it promised: non-stop laughs without any agenda or universe-building requirements. While its $45 million budget raised eyebrows for a comedy, the film's strong word of mouth and repeat viewings suggest it might actually turn a profit, something Fantastic Four can't claim despite its $250 million budget. The contrast between these two films speaks volumes about the current state of Hollywood.
The Fantastic Four comes out on July 25th. This is the new one with Pedro Pascal. It looks good. I'm a big Fantastic Four guy. I love the Fantastic Four, so I'm excited about this.
I thought it was supposed to be what's-his-face, John Krasinski from The Office.
While studios have been obsessively chasing cinematic universes and message-driven storytelling, they've forgotten that most audiences just want to be entertained. Even the buzz surrounding Deadpool 3 stems largely from its promise to skewer Marvel's self-seriousness with R-rated humor. The takeaway is clear. After years of chasing epic scale and cultural relevance, Hollywood might need to remember that sometimes people just want to laugh. Marvel Studios now stands at a critical crossroads. The choices it makes in the coming months will determine whether it can adapt and survive or continue its downward spiral into irrelevance. The disastrous performance of Fantastic Four has exposed fundamental flaws in the studio's approach, from alienating core fans to prioritizing messaging over storytelling. Pedro Pascal's abrupt exit demonstrates that even A-list talent is losing faith in the Marvel machine, while the studio's dependence on Spider-Man highlights its failure to develop new, compelling characters. The path forward requires painful but necessary changes, cleaning house of agenda-driven executives, rebuilding trust with disillusioned fans, and most importantly, focusing on telling great stories rather than checking diversity boxes. Alternatively, Marvel could take the more radical approach of letting its superhero properties rest for several years, allowing audience appetite to rebuild before attempting reboots with fresh creative visions. One thing is certain, if Marvel continues doubling down on its current course, it risks following the same depressing trajectory as Star Wars, becoming a hollow shell of its former self that Disney keeps milking despite diminishing returns. The clock is ticking, and with competitors like Sony demonstrating there's still life in superhero films when done right, Marvel's window for course correction is closing fast. The question isn't just whether Marvel can survive, it's whether the studio has the humility and wisdom to recognize it needs to change at all.